And we also partnered with the Department of Records and Deeds, because a lot of people think that once they probate it, they stay with us and we do the transferring of the title. No, you have to go to a whole nother department, and it's the Department of Deeds, and they agreed to waive those fees. And I'm so happy about that. And so I decided to do that because I had been getting a lot of advice from a lot of attorneys saying that they are having problems helping people get out of the Tangled Title simply because they could not afford it. And I know she just said roughly 400, but you know, we don't know how many estates you may have to open. And also $400 in these times is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And so I am very excited. We rolled that program out, Probate Deferment Initiative, and we are going to assist as many people as we can. And we're going to appeal to our state legislators and city council to make sure that they keep funding that program, because I believe there's a direct correlation with abandoned properties and all these abandoned lots, because I believe that they were tangled titles that people just walked away from because they couldn't do any business with it because it wasn't in their name. And I just read a really startling statistic, and I wanted to read this all to you all because I do believe, and we know for a fact, that it is a Philadelphia problem with the education of estate planning and will making, but it's also a national problem. In the United States, there's a massive racial will making or estate planning gap. Among all these other racial gaps that we're now talking about in our society, 65% of white American families have a will, and 23% of African Americans have a will. I got this study from a professor out of Texas by the name of Thomas Mitchell, who just won the MacArthur Genius Award. He said what is even more shocking is that 75% of white Americans with a college education or more have a will, but only 33% of African Americans with a college education have a will. I have a college education, and I knew nothing about a will when I bought my house 27 years ago. So this is a racial gap as well. You know what I mean? And it's really a problem, and that's why we're losing generational wealth. And when you read this essay, or you know, he won an award, the Genius Award. He won a lot of money from this research. You will see that Black people have lost millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of property and generational wealth simply because we have not been educated and disciplined enough to plan our estates. And so it's up to not only me as your registrar of will, and Sharon, who is assisting me as my solicitor, and Abraham, who is doing wonderful things at the Urban League, but every last one of you that's listening, I believe, have a responsibility to help someone understand that importance. And so if you can buy a home, make sure you make that will so you can pass it down to your family or to whoever you want to pass it down to. But the last thing we want to continue doing is losing property.